and welcome back to module number 4. And in today's module, again, I'm going to divide it in two parts. The first part is I'm going to introduce the idea of into a JavaScript, and then I'm going to talk about Adobe Photoshop, and I'll try to go over and what it consists of and how to apply to it. So the issue of most of you complain about FTP. I open a ticket. One of the things that it's really important to remember is that you need to have your host name, your username, password, and port. Port means what type of application is accessible, and usually it's 21. I highly recommend it. But one of the things that when I opened the ticket, I complained about that and they did not came back to me. So I'm waiting to hear back about the problem you are facing. Just a reminder, the idea of the cPanel, it gives you all the information that you need. I don't want you to start playing with it. We will do that when we are going to apply the database. But for now, you're going to copy the username, your FTP username, and you're going to apply that into the FTP. So the host, the username, and the password. This is part of what usually is Intel. Also, when you log on to it, it will give you your username, password, and the FTP, and with addition to the port 21. So this is a good reminder. Try the port 21, maybe it will help. Okay, so back to our conversation, and in this discussion, I'm going to talk about something that I never done. Usually I like to have create a PowerPoint that you are able to see and be able to apply. But in this time, I did something differently. I apply the idea of JavaScript and I tried to make it more concise. I gave a little history on it, and then I said JavaScript by example, and I don't want you to just copy, I want you to understand what it is. So in this case, I broke down 4 examples of JavaScript. I gave an example what is all the commands that it apply and how it works. And it is also the idea what it is Intel with regard to it and how it been applied. So those are the things that you need to go over by yourself. I will not go over and read it for you. You will need to do that. One of the things that I always forget to remind you is, and as again, as a web technology programmer, I always forget, is that you need to refresh your browser in order for it to accept it, because right now the browser does not have mechanism to clean the cache automatically. So basically he will remember the working file that you are having, and he will not refresh it. There is no mechanism to refresh it. When we are uploading the file to the server, we will write a small script that will refresh it, the user that's trying to log on to the website, that he will be able to catch up all the latest news on the website. But right now, when you are working from your desktop, there is no mechanism to support the refresh, and as a result, you need to do it manually. So this is something that is really important. I gave example of variables and functions and what does it entail. Again, I want you to go over that. This is not going to be a long video about that, but a textbook online give you all the breakdowns and everything else. And this is important because in module number 5, I'm going to go over just how to make sure that, for example, in a form, how you make sure that you can use JavaScript to verify that the user fill out the form correctly and it is JavaScript. And then I will jump into the PHP, which is the main subject of this the class from now on. And so it's really important that you will follow up. I hope this page will give you a better sense of the JavaScript and how it works and what is it, the structure of it. And again, ask questions. My job is to answer those questions. Go over that. I went over data as an object. I went over loops, what is a loop and how to apply to it. I use, again, my passion with regard to manipulate data in that. And I also talked about event handler and what does it onload or on mouse or on mouse out, what does it entail and how it applied. And I also talked about separating HTML, style sheet and JavaScript in order for you to handle it. I outlined what is it entail, and I gave a test of a short file of JavaScript called test.js in order for it to do that, and I refer to it into the script itself. So go over that, make sure that you understand, ask question. Your job is to ask question and how to it apply. I will open the module very soon, so please make sure that you are into read that and try to understand what it is. So this is it for the introduction to JavaScript. I hope it makes sense. The next module, I'm going to talk about Photoshop and how to apply to it. Until then, have fun.